Okay, let's just dive right in. If you're navigating the 21st century, you probably feel, I don't know, just completely exhausted by the digital world we live in.
Utterly exhausted.
And it's not just about screen time, it's this deeper thing, right? This
Mm.
cognitive fatigue from just information overload, the toxicity.
It's the paradox.
Yeah.
We have all the knowledge in the world at our fingertips, but the problems, both global and, personal, they just seem to be getting worse, not better.
Exactly.
And that feeling, that exhaustion, it's not an accident. It's actually the result of the system we're in, the attention economy.
Right.
Every single platform we use is built to do one thing.
Hmm.
Keep your eyes on the screen for ads. It's an engine that runs on engagement. And unfortunately, what's most engaging is often outrage or fear or envy.
Those extremes keep us scrolling.
And keep us scrolling. And that keeps the revenue flowing.
So the sources you brought us today, they pose this really radical thought experiment. What if we just flip that whole engine in reverse?
Completely re-engineered it.
Yeah. Imagine you take the brain of Google, the entire library of the World Wide Web, and the connectivity of all social media, and you create this new thing. The blueprint calls it the nexus or solve sphere.
And its only goal is problem, solution, and human well-being.
Wow.
It's a blueprint for what you could call a global sense-making and personal guidance OS. And that's the big shift we're digging into here, moving from the information age into the action age.
Because we don't have a shortage of information.
Not at all. The shortage is coordination.
Mm-hmm.
It's the application of all that knowledge to actually solve things.
Okay, that coordination bottleneck is a huge point. So if that's the premise, you have to start with a totally new philosophy, a new rule book. It can't be about engagement anymore.
No, not at all. The core philosophy is simply value over engagement. The system success isn't measured by, time spent on app.
Or daily active users or any of that.
None of it. It's measured by one thing, problems resolved. So if you use the platform for 5 minutes and you actually coordinate a real-world action, that's a huge win for the system.
But if you scroll for 5 hours and just end up feeling more stressed,
That's a catastrophic failure from the system's point of view.
so that means the interface itself has to be fundamentally different. And the sources say the front door, the biggest change, is replacing the search bar with an action bar.
Precisely. You're not searching for information anymore. You're inputting a problem and requesting a solution.
Okay, so give me an example.
So the sources describe the output as a dynamic action plan, not a list of links. So if you type in a huge problem like plastic pollution in the Pacific,
Right now, I just get a million articles telling me how doomed we are.
exactly, in this system, it would instantly generate a live project management board. It would show you current, verified initiatives, where the resource gaps are, and this is the key traceable actions you can take right now.
So it connects you directly to the people on the ground.
Instantly. It just completely shifts the feeling from helplessness to seeing where you can actually make a difference.
But for that to work, you have to have absolute trust in the data. That action plan has to be reliable. Which brings us to the first pillar, right? The filter pillar.
This is the foundation of the trust. And it's a direct reversal of how things work now. Today, virality is truth. The more emotional something is, the more views it gets, and we assume it's important.
Or even true.
Or even true, yeah. This new system uses the filter pillar to assign a mandatory credibility score based on verifiable peer-reviewed data. It prioritizes knowledge over noise.
Okay, but what about actual disinformation? Stuff that's designed to look real and fool the system?
It just ruthlessly deranks it. Instead of getting into these endless moderation fights, the system just flags it as corrupted data. It's basically seen as unusable for problem solving.
So it just disappears.
It effectively vanishes from any action bar output. It refuses to fuel conflict for clicks, because its goal isn't clicks. Its goal is consensus and coordination.
Okay, so the filter sorts out what's credible. Then you have the engine pillar, which, what, it connects the dots?
It connects needs to solutions. It's an AI that's proactive. The sources describe it as solutions chasing problems, not the other way around.
What do you mean?
Well, think about this example. You buy a new electric guitar. The old system, what does it do? It immediately hits you with ads for cables, straps, more guitars.
Right, more consumption.
Exactly. The engine pillar, its goal is resolution. It sees you bought a guitar and immediately connects you to the next logical step for proficiency. Maybe a local guitar teacher with an open slot or a practice group nearby. It optimizes for skill gain, for application.
That is a completely different way of thinking. So let's bring this down from the global level. How does the system help me? This brings us to the micro level, what the sources call the mirror.
Yeah, the system as your personal life OS. And the first thing it does is replace that toxic envy machine we call the news feed.
That highlight reel of everyone's perfect life.
Right, that's gone. It's replaced by a growth dashboard or life feed. And it's geared toward tracking your own progress, sleep quality, a skill you're learning, your emotional balance. It's all internal metrics, not external vanity ones.
Okay, let's use the specific scenario from the blueprint. A user types, I want to get fit, but I'm unmotivated. What happens?
So two things. The knowledge layer, first, it instantly curates a scientifically backed workout plan, tailored to your biometrics, what equipment you have.
Okay, pretty standard so far.
But then the social layer kicks in, and this is where the real revolution is. The platform strips away all vanity metrics. No likes, no followers, nothing.
Instead, it matches you with people.
It matches you into a temporary micropod. It's a small group, maybe 5 other real people, who are the exact same fitness level, have the same motivation as you, same schedule.
You're kidding.
And they have the same specific goal, like run a 5K in 3 months. The sources call them solution swarms.
That temporary pod, so it dissolves.
Yeah. That's the key. It's a fundamentally anti-social media design. It's not about building a permanent audience. The pod exists only to succeed together. Once the goal is achieved, the pod dissolves.
Wow, so status comes from actually doing the thing, not posting a filtered picture of you doing the thing.
Exactly. Connection is a tool for betterment, not an end in itself.
And the micro level also has this. AI Guardian, an anti-addiction design.
This is critical. The Guardian is monitoring your inputs, your sleep, your diet, what media you're consuming, and it's proactive.
So what would it do?
It might send you a system-level alert based on your own history. Something like, we notice you tend to get anxious when you read high-conflict political news after 10 p.m. Access to that topic is paused until morning.
That's profound. The platform is engineered to protect your attention from your own known triggers.
Instead of exploiting them. And it gets rid of the infinite scroll, which is pure addiction architecture. It replaces it with what the blueprint calls a completion loop.
A completion loop.
Yeah, once your task is done, the interface gives you this clear signal of completion and literally encourages you to log off. It tells you the digital work is done, now go live in the real world.
Okay, so let's scale back up. From the individual's dashboard to what the sources call the window, humanity's challenges. How does this change the currency of, status on a global scale?
Well, status isn't about cloud anymore. It's about what the sources call gamified altruism. The new currency is impact points or solve coins.
And you earn these how?
Through verifiable contributions. Answering a complex question that informs a new policy, volunteering for 10 hours and having that validated, submitting a piece of open source code that works. That's what gets you status.
So the pursuit of status actually becomes a net positive for everyone.
It's a complete inversion of the current incentives. It's amazing.
So let's take that wildfire example. Right now, I look up wildfires in California. I just get panic and sensationalism. What happens here?
You enter a real-time situation room. It's a 3D hyperlocal map, like a live Google Earth. It shows containment lines, wind direction, shelter capacity. It's pulling in data from every available source.
Okay, but what if I'm 1,000 miles away? How do I help in a way that I know isn't just, getting lost in some big charity's bank account?
The platform gets rid of blind donation. It shows you the supply chain gaps in real time. It might flag something like, truck number 3 delivering medical supplies to this shelter is 40% underfunded for fuel.
And you can fund just that truck.
You can fund that specific traceable need. And because everything is tracked, you see the moment your contribution gets there.
Yeah.
And that's when you get your impact points.
It sounds like the entire system is designed to create consensus and action, which is the exact opposite of how algorithms work now. But doesn't chasing a consensus risk oversimplifying really complex issues? Or even creating some kind of algorithmic groupthink?
That is the absolute central challenge to the consensus engine. It has to find synthesis without crushing critical perspectives.
So how does it do that?
It uses AI to analyze millions of arguments. But it's not just summarizing. It's extracting the core factual data supporting each one, and then it presents it very clearly. The strongest, most evidence-backed argument for position A is X. The strongest for position B is Y. And here, this is Z. This is the verifiable middle ground where the facts from both sides actually agree.
So it doesn't tell you what to believe.
No. It just clears away the junk and shows you why people believe what they do and focuses everyone's attention on the common ground where action is actually possible.
It changes the whole quality of the debate.
It assumes people act better when they're informed, not when they're enraged.
It's clear this whole network would be a monumental task. The taxonomy and the sources, the sheer scope of what it would have to map. It's not just climate change and war.
Not at all. The taxonomy is designed to map the entire spectrum of challenges, from global systemic issues right down to individual suffering. It's got the big existential risks, the geopolitical threats, but it also validates the internal personal crises that come from just being aware of all that.
You're talking about things like solastalgia. That's a term I'd never even heard before.
Right. And it's so important to track. Solastalgia is that deep, visceral distress you feel from negative environmental change in a place you love.
Okay.
So if the platform sees a user is suffering from that, maybe because their local river dried up, it connects that personal pain to the global data. And then the action bar can give them local, verifiable restoration projects they can join. It mitigates their personal distress through proactive local action.
So it connects the psychological pain of a global problem to a hyper-local solution.
That's the core mission. And it's the same for pre-traumatic stress, that anxiety about future disasters, or moral injury, or just the burnout from trying to optimize every second of your life. The platform has to track these subtle emotional data points to make sure its action plans are actually sustainable for a human being.
A system that can map our feelings and flaws at that scale. I mean, the risk of it becoming a complete dystopia is huge. What are the guardrails? What stops this from becoming an oppressive nightmare?
That's the critical question. And the sources is very clear. Strict governance is non-negotiable. There are three big ones. First is data sovereignty.
Meaning I own my data.
You own it. You
Okay.
just grant the platform a revocable lease to use it for problem solving. And if you feel it's being misused, you pull the plug. Your data is digitally incinerated.
Which is a massive change from now, where our data is the product. What about the code itself?
Algorithmic transparency. The code that explains why a solution was ranked highest or why content was deemed credible, it all has to be open source, auditable, no black boxes.
And the third?
Identity verification. To prevent bots and bad actors from gaming the solution swarms with a consensus engine, any significant contribution has to come from a verified human. If the option age is about verifiable results, the actors have to be verifiable too.
It really is a shift from a hall of mirrors and, focused on distraction and image to something more like a global nervous system. It's connecting the brain, the knowledge with the heart social connection to finally move the hands.
That's a perfect summary. It's about integration. But let's land on a final thought for you to take away. If this is the future internet, one built for action and impact, what does that mean for media creators right now?
That's a huge question. The current market is all about the polished, the perfect, the aspirational fantasy.
And that market is already starting to collapse. The sources point to this massive growing demand for what they call radical authenticity and hyper-specific localism.
So the value of that perfect, polished aesthetic is cratering. We should be throwing out the generic stock photo.
Precisely. Think about what AI is good at generating. Perfect faces, perfect landscapes. The real value is now in what AI struggles with. The messy, tangible, real world. For instance, there's a huge demand right now for photos of the imperfect home office.
You mean messy cables, crumpled paper?
Real signs of effort. It documents authentic work. Or think about native vertical video, the 9.16 format. It's still massively underrepresented in stock libraries, but it's how everyone consumes short-form media.
And there was one more hyper-specific example.
Yeah, visuals of specific human hands interacting with objects. Threading a needle, soldering a circuit board, turning a valve. These are things that prove real-world action is happening. And they are things AI still cannot render coherently.
So the most valuable media in the action age is the media that proves real work is being done.
Yeah.
That's a powerful incentive to get up and actually start building. This is a framework you can actually apply.
Indeed. It's about shifting from optimization anxiety to applied resolution. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.